Hello and welcome back to the Movie Memo Recaps. Today we are going to recap a 2022 movie titled The Baker. Please be advised that there will be spoilers ahead. The initial scene introduces us to Poppy, an elderly man who has awoken from a nightmare. Subsequently, he prepared himself to start making bread. He put on his shoes first, followed by his bakery clothes. Then he walked into the kitchen to prepare bread dough. The scene shifts to Peter, waiting for someone to arrive from New York at the airport, only to have the plane delayed by 2 hours. Then he decided to unwind in his car located in the parking lot. A short while later, Peter noticed a tall man exiting the vehicle. He removed a bag from the trunk of a parked car. It turned out that behind the car, 2 thugs were waiting for him. Then the goons beat him up. The man defeated the 2 thugs, but he died soon afterward. Peter instantly dialed 911. Peter stormed into his daughter's classroom early one morning. He packed up his daughter's possessions and ran away. Peter took his daughter on a walk. His daughter noticed an orange bag in the back seat of the car. The bag belonged to the individual who met his demise in the airport parking lot. They then stopped at a gas station. His daughter proceeded to the gas station store. She saw unicorn nail paint and stole it. They then continued their voyage. They also boarded a ship. Poppy had a nightmare, as usual. Then he awoke from his sleep. Poppy made and baked bread dough. Peter and his daughter, Delphi, later visited Poppy's bakery. While Poppy was greeting them, Peter said he was hungry and entered Poppy's bakery. Poppy inquired about Peter's employment. Poppy thought Peter was a limousine driver, but he said he was a businessman. Milky called Peter moments afterward. Then Peter stated that he had to go to town without Delphi. Delphi was upset because she wanted to go with her father, but Peter convinced her to spend some time with Poppy instead. He assured Delphi that he would not let her down. Peter agreed to pick Delphi up before Poppy developed a strong attachment with his daughter. Once Peter left, Poppy went back to his work. Delphi entered and took one piece of bread. She ate it while sitting cross-legged at the door. Unaware that Delphi was downstairs, Poppy accidentally bumped her, causing the oven to topple over. Poppy then welded the broken component of the oven. Delphi suddenly approached Poppy, saying nothing. Poppy was surprised to see her and wondered if Delphi would become mute. Poppy handed Delphi a pair of safety glasses so she could observe him welding. A short while later, Delphi returned to explore Poppy's bakery. She noticed a mouse captured in a trap. She retrieved it, but the mouse nibbled her finger. Poppy discovered a mouse had bitten Delphi, and then he treated her wound. After Poppy left her alone at the counter, Delphi stole some cash. Poppy took Delphi to deliver bread. Delphi instructed Poppy to wear his seatbelt as soon as she entered the vehicle. Poppy did not want to wear it, but Delphi insisted. Finally, Poppy agreed with Delphi. Peter arrived at his home. He was astonished to see 2 men in his home. One of them was older. The old guy, Vic, did not explain why they had come to his house, but Peter appeared to know. Peter recounted the events that transpired at the airport parking lot. He took the orange bag because he wasn't sure who it belonged to. Then, as Peter handed the bag to Vic, he noticed that it contained Delphi's toys. Peter was astonished to see it. He offered to return the drugs. But the old man ordered his men to beat Peter. Vic spotted a picture of Delphi and grabbed it. Vic then aimed a gun at Peter. He demanded Peter confess the truth. When Poppy opened the bakery, he discovered that one of his breads had a hole in it due to Delphi's consumption. Poppy was annoyed, and instead of apologizing, Delphi flung the items on the counter. Poppy received a call from his son, Peter. He sent Poppy a signal that he was in trouble. Then a shot is heard. Poppy questioned Delphi about Peter's actions that had gotten him into trouble. Delphi opened her bag, revealing that it contained drugs. Poppy quickly prepared to visit his son. Vic informed his boss at the plant that the orange bag had gone missing. His boss was upset and angry, but Vic finally came up with a solution. He planned to assault Arya's gang while simultaneously looking for Peter's daughter. At midday, Poppy and Delphi arrived at Peter's house. Poppy instructed Delphi to wait for him outside. Then Poppy entered the house and noticed its messiness. But he didn't find Peter. Then he checked around Peter's residence for anything that could provide a clue. Soon after, Delphi stormed into the house. Poppy followed Delphi to her room. He let Delphi take the toys from her room. Poppy waited for Delphi outside the home. Then he caught sight of Peter's neighbor. Poppy greeted her for some questions. It was revealed that the woman spoke French with the same fluency as Poppy, and he inquired whether she knew Peter. He also asked if she was familiar with Delphi. She informed him that she occasionally watched movies with her. The woman stated that Delphi had made a vow to someone and was in need of a companion. Poppy wasn't sure what she meant, and he inquired about Delphi's mother. The woman claimed that her mother had perished in an accident. Delphi was in the back seat of the car, and her mother was not wearing a seatbelt. Delphi no longer spoke after that incident. Pappy intended to leave Delphi with the woman, but she refused. Then Pappy and Delphic inspected Peter's car. Pappy discovered his son's notepad. Pappy then reported Peter's incident to Petra, the police officer. However, when the police asked for Peter's birth date and month, Pappy was unable to respond clearly. The officer stated that the police could not handle Pappy's report. Pappy finally stopped at a restaurant. While waiting for Delphi to enjoy ice cream, Pappy discovered a letter in Peter's book. The memo mentioned the occurrence at the airport where Peter received the orange bag of drugs. Pappy then made his way to the airport parking lot. He searched for hints that could help him find Peter. Delphi also surveyed the parking lot, where she discovered her father's favorite food wrapper. Then Pappy went to a hospital near the airport. He searched for his son's body, but all he found were the bodies of gangsters. Pappy informed Delphi that her father was not in the hospital. In the afternoon, they were able to locate Milky. Milky contacted Peter earlier while he was at his place. Pappy then searched for information about him, eventually discovering that Milky was at the park at Elm and 5th. However, when leaving, Pappy suspected that two people were following him. Suddenly, the two men attacked Pappy from behind, knocking him down. But Pappy rose and defeated them. Then he got into his car and noticed that Delphi watched in terror as the thugs assaulted Pappy. However, Pappy warned her that there might be unwanted events, such as a brawl. He suggested Delphi put on protective spectacles. Then they went to a hotel to relax. Unfortunately, the hotel did not take cash payments. Delphi abruptly seized a customer's credit card from the dining table. Finally, they may reserve a room. Vic came across the lifeless body of a young man on the base. Someone then asserted that he ought to have headed to the airport rather than the young man's body. Then he informed them that a baker was looking around the city hunting for information about his missing son. But Vic had already grown irritated with him and decided to shoot him dead. Vic instructed his men to search for the baker. Then he set the place on fire. Pappy awoke from her nightmare this morning. He fixed the twinkling lights on Delphi's shoe and resumed with his search. Petra observed the arrest of a group of thugs. Rispoli asserted that an elderly man had been involved in the thugs' arrest. Then, Petra decided to gather information about the elderly man. Petra later urged Rispoli to find Peter Stanton's father. However, Rispoli was unable to find Peter's father's name. He merely discovered Peter's date of birth. Pappy arrived in the park on Elm and 5th. He observed the actions of the guys there. Then Milky exited the park. Pappy followed him till Milky arrived at his home. He then instructed Delphi to remain in the car at all costs. Meanwhile, Pappy encountered Milky while delivering a bread box to his home. Milky walked outside to grab the box. Pappy easily caught Milky and pulled him inside the house. Pappy inquired about Peter's whereabouts. Milky claimed not to recognize Peter at first. But Pappy revealed that Peter had called Milky 3 days earlier. He explained that Peter was planning to sell him a drug. Milky eventually revealed that he knew Peter and stated that he was to bring the drug to Serko, the drug source. He also mentioned that Serko, a Ukrainian, owned a club called Lily, which had a large, tall figure. Delphi soon entered Milky's home. She was afraid because someone was observing Pappy's car. Then Pappy triumphed over Milky, and they headed back to their truck. Pappy decided to stop for dinner and spotted Delphi about to steal a unicorn-shaped keychain. But Pappy stopped Delphi from doing so. Delphi was upset at first, but she eventually hugged him. Vic awoke to a knock on his door. It was his boss. He reminded him that he hadn't yet made a decision regarding Vic. Pappy and Delphi returned to the hotel room. Pappy stated that Peter did not enjoy mushrooms as much as Delphi. Pappy then read a story to her granddaughter till Delphi fell asleep. Pappy continued his quest for his missing son. He visited Serko's Lily Club. Pappy sought out people who shared the characteristics indicated by Milky. He later discovered Serko and deliberately bumped Serko's arm, causing his drink to spill on his shirt. Then he went to the toilet. Pappy pretended to be a cleaner and communicated with Serko using Ukrainian. Pappy struck a conversation with Serko, inquiring about Peter's whereabouts. He informed him that Peter committed suicide, but Pappy didn't believe him. Then he reached for his belt and struck him with it. Serko was infuriated and started attacking Pappy. Nonetheless, Pappy was able to defeat him. After that, Pappy went back to the hotel, where Delphi noticed that he was injured. The grandfather told her about Peter, who might still be alive. However, she cried because she was terrified her father might be dead. Pappy quickly calmed Delphi down. After discovering Serko dead in the club's restroom, The police proceeded to examine CCTV footage in an attempt to identify the elderly man who had murdered Circo. Petra directed Rispoli to hunt for CCTV footage of the man's face. Soon after, Rispoli discovered Pappy's face. He then texted Vic a picture of Pappy's face. When Pappy and Delphi wanted to return home that morning, Poppy went to purchase refreshments for the trip. As Delphi was packing her belongings in the room, she noticed two young men approaching her. Delphi got the bread containing the drugs that Pappy had stored in the bathroom. Suddenly, the men entered the room, and she swiftly hid beneath the bed, leaving the bread on the table. The men looked for Poppy but found nothing. One of them noticed something was awry in the bathroom and contacted his friend. Delphi took off with the bread while they were in the bathroom. She dashed to Pappy's truck, and the guys followed Delphi there. Delphi continually hit the horn button to ensure that Pappy heard her. Pappy overheard the horn, and he instantly returned to his truck. Pappy caught sight of two young men in his pickup and beat one of the thugs to death. As Pappy was about to leave, one of the guys tampered with the gas filler hole and set his truck on fire. Pappy walked out with Delphi for assistance, and they stopped at a shop. Pappy attempted to treat the wounds on his stomach and face but fainted shortly after. Delphi got frightened when she saw this and begged the shopkeeper to call an ambulance. The shopkeeper then sent Pappy to the hospital. Pappy awoke, and he urged Delphi to purchase chocolate without nuts. Delphi caught sight of three men who seemed to be searching for her grandfather's bedroom, and one of them followed Delphi. The other two searched Pappy's room independently and later found that Pappy wasn't there. The man who had been following Delphi asked her to tell him about Pappy's room. Delphi accepted and took the man to someone else's room before fleeing. The man, feeling deceived, pursued Delphi. Soon, Pappy assaulted the two thugs from beneath the mattress. Pappy effortlessly defeated the thugs. Detective Petra figured out where Pappy was and went to the hospital to see him. When Detective Petra arrived at the hospital, she immediately searched for Pappy's room. She observed a man chasing Delphi, and she shot him to death. Then Pappy visited her injured grandfather. Following that, they exited his room. They chose to hide when Petra arrived in the room and couldn't see them. Instead, she discovered two thugs dead. She confiscated one of the thugs' cell phones and was astonished to find a snapshot of Pappy on the cell phone. Petra then shot Rispoli to death because she knew it was her friend Rispoli who had disseminated Pappy's photo. Pappy remained determined to find his son's murderer, and he met Vic in a restaurant. Vic was plagued by Delphi's image, but Pappy trailed him until he gave Vic instructions to locate Peter. A few minutes later, they reached the heart of the woodland on the beach. Vic pointed out Peter's corpse. Vic felt a deep sense of regret for taking Peter's life. Pappy nearly kills Vic. Delphi unexpectedly arrived, and Pappy quickly hugged her and stated that she may weep now. The agreement said that Delphi could cry if they saw Pete's corpse. After that, Pappy and Delphi traveled to the airport. They were planning to travel abroad. While waiting for their plane, they listened to the song playing at the airport. Delphi stated that she enjoyed this song. Delphi began speaking again after a lengthy period of silence, and Pappy seemed pleased. Thanks for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more of these recaps. Until next time, have a nice day. Thank you for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.